name's Jacob Stewart. I'm one of the business solution managers for Polycom. I work as part of the dedicated Telstra account team, Telstra being our biggest partner in Australia, but also strategically and from a global perspective, one of our most important and one of our partners that we work the closest with. We take the feedback and the advice from customers like yourselves and through Telstra and build that into the products and solutions that we deliver to the market. So today I'm going to talk to you about what we're seeing in the market, some of the solutions that Telstra and Polycom can deliver, and hopefully out of that you'll take away some ideas that you can do business differently and how we can help you do business differently. So I'd like to start and just talk about unified communications. What we find is you talk to 10 people and ask them what UC is, you get 10 different answers. It's a lot of things to a lot of people. From a Polycom perspective, it's not tied to a platform, a product, a specific solution. For us, it's about seamless integration. For us, it should be about you as a customer taking the components that are relevant, whether it's instant messaging, whether it's voice, whether it's video, document collaboration, contact centers, the components that are relevant to your business and having them work with the other components that are relevant to your business. At Polycom, we don't pretend to do the full UC solution. We try to be very good at the bits that we do well and then partner and jointly develop and work with other best of breed vendors and service providers and solution providers in the market. So how do we do that? So our marketing people call it the Polycom Open Collaboration Network. It's an ecosystem of UC vendors and partners and providers like us, Microsoft, Broadsoft, IBM, partners like Motorola, who do the Zoom tablets, and service providers like Telstra, who take those products from those various vendors and turn it into a solution for you, our joint customers. What we do with these partners is we have a common goal around open standards, joint development, interoperability, with the end game is to provide solutions to you that are best in class, but also don't lock you in, that mean you can pick and choose the components that are relevant and that work for your business. So what are we seeing in the market? We're seeing video and lots of it, and we're seeing it grow. We're seeing an expectation for video in how we deal with each other, how we collaborate, how we do business. It's being driven from the home with FaceTime, Google Talk, Skype, applications like that that we, our friends, our family use at home. We're seeing it driven at a federal level by initiatives from the federal government, especially in health and education at the moment, using video and visual communications to deliver services to places and in ways and more effectively than they ever have done before. In Victoria, we're really lucky. The federal government, the education department is currently rolling out video conferencing solutions to 1,700 plus schools to enable the connected classroom, to have our kids have access to teachers and classes and content and experts that they never would have had access to before, like not just in other parts of the state, but in other states and around the world. We're seeing mobile devices, like the Motorola Xoom, like the iPad, like the Samsung Galaxy. We're seeing them grow. You'll hear Motorola talk about their expectations around growth of the tablet market. But what we're seeing and what we're trying to do is we're seeing an expectation that that needs to be a legitimate business tool. So not just a consumer device that you use at home, but a tool you can take with you when you travel, that you're able to do all of your business activities on, but also integrates as part of your visual communications or your UC solution that you choose to use. We're seeing video drive down to the desktop and drive down quickly. Where in the past, to do video, you probably would have come into a room this size and connected with another room this size and not connect to a lot else. At great cost too, I might add. But what we're seeing is an expectation and the capability of video on a laptop or a desktop as a client, on a device, on a tablet, on any device, and having them all work together. And then finally, we believe with LTE or 4G and NBN coming out, that you'll see an expansion and an extension of those tools to not only how you do business internally, but extending that to how you connect and collaborate and do business with your customers. So when we've spoken to you in the past about video, we probably said, how much do you spend on travel? Let's cut that in half. Let's put in a video conferencing solution. And that would have been pretty much what the conversation was around. But what we know and what we see in the market is that while it's a legitimate cost saving and a productivity, there are other ways and other parts of the business where we can really help you to do things differently, do things smarter, and also give you a competitive edge. Recruiting, for instance, is a great example. Myself am an example of that. I am based here in Melbourne. My boss is in Sydney. I did all of my interviews. I think there's about 6 in total. Did them all via video. So what that meant for Polycom is they were able to get me on board quicker, but also save themselves significant cost around not flying down to do face-to-face interviews. So what we like to do is work with Telstra, work with your Telstra representatives, and look at your business, whether it be in some of these key verticals that we work well in and have great solutions for, or in some of the lines of business across your business that we all have a part of everyone's business. Training, for example, Polycom and Telstra do the majority of our training via video. From a Polycom perspective, our challenge is time zones. A lot of our training is delivered by our product and engineering experts in some other part of the world, Canada, North America, Israel. So I will regularly, if you want to attend live training sessions, it's going to be at 2 or 3 in the morning here, which is obviously not really going to get a lot out of, let's be honest. And for the Telstra guys, it's the breadth of having their staff all around the country and the actual logistics, let alone the cost and the downtime of trying to get everyone into the same room it just doesn't happen in the way we do business today. So what we do is we deliver it via video, but then we build on that and we record it and we add all the content and we make it available as an online course as well. That means that I, as a Polycom employee, can come in the next day and watch the training session, and I haven't missed out on anything. I've still got all the information, I've got all the content, and then I've got, after it, if I've got any follow-up questions that people haven't asked during the session, I can have context to go and ask. So I'm going to touch on a few examples of where we've built some, I think, innovative solutions around using visual communications as part of people's business. So business continuity is an area that traditionally we haven't thought of video being able to help. But the volcano, as you may remember, in Iceland, with a name that if any of you can pronounce, I'll tip my hat because I'm not even going to bother trying. What it meant though is that air travel in Europe was shut down pretty much completely. So we had staff, I know Telstra did, and I'm sure some of your businesses had staff or suppliers or partners that had people stuck in Europe. We live in a world of smartphones and the internet and email on every device now, which means there's an expectation that you can do business and do business all the time and be contacted and be connected. So what it meant for many businesses like ours, didn't matter that you had people stuck there. They had to be able to be contacted, had to be able to continue to do business. So Regis are one of our partners. They have publicly available video conferencing rooms, and they saw that the bookings go through the roof because people went, well, as you do in a crisis, you get innovative, and they realised that, hey, let's use video, let's make it available. We actually had a really good example. One of my colleagues from our UK office was in Germany on holidays, finished his holidays, had to come back for important presentations, customer meetings, hadn't taken any of his work stuff because he was on holidays, naturally, but was able to go to a computer shop, buy a $500 laptop and a webcam, and be back with a little bit of help from his colleagues and present to his customers and do his meetings and be part of them, but be actively part of them, visually, not just, on a mobile phone. As I'm sure you've had meetings where there's lots of people in a room and then there's some poor person on the phone who really isn't part of that experience. We're working with Northern Trust to deliver what I think this is a really cool solution, where they're a financial institution they deliver all of their services to all of their branches using video conferencing. So what it means for their customers is they can go into any branch, big or small, metro, remote, rural, doesn't matter. And they can get access, be taken into a room if the person isn't local, if the resource isn't local, and have that consultation, do that planning, get that loan, do what they need to do. But I think most importantly for Northern Trust, it means they're not letting revenue walk out the door. They're not having customers come in who want a service, can't get it locally or aren't willing to wait or travel, and then walking next door to their competitor who does provide or does have that resource locally. And this is one we're working on right now that we are hopefully coming to a Telstra Business shop near you. We're working on some proof of concepts to have happening by the end of the year. What we're trying to do is enhance service, Telstra service in a Telstra Business or a Telstra T-shop, T-Life store, by adding video kiosks. So when you walk into the Telstra shop and everyone's busy, as happens from time to time, it's the joys of retail, instead of as a customer having to leave and come back or wait until someone's available, being able to go to a video kiosk, be able to get access to information about products and services and some self-help tools, but then being able to initiate a call that's routed intelligently through the network to someone who knows about the product that you're there for, is able to fix your issue, is able to make that happen and have a face-to-face conversation with them. And hopefully our aim with that is to be able to enhance Telstra's customer service for customers like yourselves. I'm going to run through some of the solutions that Telstra and Polycom can deliver. To give you an idea of some of the things we can do, I'm just going to play a quick video. So at Polycom, we like to categorise the products that we do by the way that they're used. So personal devices and mobile devices, from software running on tablets to the phones that are available as part of Telstra IP telephony, to desktop clients and personal video conferencing units. Group or room-based systems, which are all about collaborating as a group, and immersive telepresence, so which are all about, as you saw, it's around the paper, it's all about making the experience as lifelike as possible and controlling that environment. And then all the infrastructure and what we call the UC intelligent core that ties it all together. What we're trying to deliver and what we work very hard with our partners like Telstra, like Microsoft, like Motorola, is to deliver anywhere, any device, anytime. So really trying to enable the places to spaces that Martin spoke about making business a thing you do, not a place that you go, not a place that you're tied to. And we firmly believe this, and we live it at Polycom. It's, my office is my laptop, my tablet. It's how I do business. I'd be lucky to spend a day a week in my office. So how do we deliver it? You can invest. We can work with Telstra, we can design, deliver a solution. You can have all the boxes, all the acronyms on that page. You can own them, you can operate them. Or you can subscribe. So we firmly believe that the only way to deliver anywhere, any device, anytime, is to deliver services out of the cloud, out of the network. And so we work with Telstra on a couple of their hosted platforms around both IP telephony and video. And I think this is the smart money, because Telstra, and Polycom a little bit, but mainly Telstra do all the hard work. They've built it, they've spent the money, they upgrade it, they manage it. When we come out with new features and functionality, they make them available. And most importantly, when it breaks, they fix it. And you as a customer are able to take those services when they're relevant to your business, when you need them, not when the box in your data rack or in your data center dictates it. So the other part of Polycom's commitment to the cloud is what we call the OVCC. So Polycom have initiated a new organisation, so not part of Polycom, we just kicked it off, called the Open Visual Communications Consortium. Bit of a mouthful, but it's made up of 14 of the world's leading service providers, Telstra being one of them, Telstra being a founding member and a board member. The whole aim of this organisation of the OVCC is to change the way that you see and visual communication, change the experience for users. So we live in a world at the moment of islands. So by connecting between those islands, so whether it be Polycom, whether it be Apple FaceTime, whether it be Skype, whether it be Cisco telepresence, doesn't matter. At the moment, trying to connect between those islands is possible in some cases, but difficult. So you as a user can get to me, but to do that you need to know what device I've got, what network I'm on, how those networks connect, what technology. The experience for your normal user is just, even for people who work in the industry, it's not easy. So what these service providers are working together is to change that and build an exchange, an intelligent exchange that isn't relied on a technology. So it doesn't matter if it's not Polycom, isn't relied on a network, and enable you an experience where as simple as a phone call. So whether it's I'm on my tablet, whether I'm using a Microsoft Link client, whether I'm on Telstra IP telephony, it doesn't matter. Whether I'm in one of the fully immersive RPX rooms, being able to, as simply as a phone call, connect to someone else anywhere in the world. That's where we see the future, and that's where we see UC everywhere.